Canadian cobalt explorer CBLT is focused on building an ethical supply chain of cobalt outside of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Let's find out more from the President and CEO of CBLT, Peter Clausi. Peter, welcome to SmallCapPower.
Thank you for having me back for an update. I love coming here.
So recently we heard that a new mining code is coming up in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and a 10% royalty is going to be levied on companies mining cobalt there. Is this the time for Canadian cobalt to shine?
The world needs Canadian cobalt. The Congo has been such a tragedy for the Congolese. Estimates run from 9 to 50 million people killed under King Leopold. Pestilence, the birthplace of Ebola. The 2016 presidential election hasn't been held yet. The people of the Congo are suffering, and the supply chain for cobalt suffers as well. We need to find sources outside of the Congo for cobalt, and Canada is one of the most likely sources in the world.
Okay. So talk to us about your recent developments, or your developments in the last 12 months at your Gauganda and your Quebec properties.
Well, we're excited about Gauganda because it has been an extremely difficult time to raise money in the mining world. No matter how good your assets are, no matter how well you execute, in this part of the commodity cycle in North America, you're not getting value for your properties and the good work you do. We went to Australia in January. We met with anybody who'd meet with us, brokers, analysts, anybody. And we built a network whereby we could sell some of our assets in Gauganda to Australian companies at fair value rather than the depressed pricing we were getting in Canada. Yeah. So we've been able to recapitalize the company on non-dilutive financing, in essence, with cash and stock in Australian reporting issuers. Strengthened our balance sheet without diluting the capital.
You also partnered with the Winmar Resources. How is that partnership performing?
Really well. We're really happy with Winmar. Winmar bought Bloom Lake for us for cash and stock. We help manage the program, for which we get paid a 10% finder's fee. But Bloom Lake ran a really good program. I'm going to read their numbers because they're so strong I don't want to get them wrong.
Right.
They did surface sampling, and the best one, this is one sample, 6.8% cobalt, which is an astonishing number. Almost half a gram of gold, 0.58% copper, and 1.5% nickel, all from one sample. There's a whole chart in the press release that sets out all the assays from all the samples. Right. So Bloom Lake has produced very well for Winmar, but Winmar right now is buying a copper cobalt processing facility in the Congo with an oversubscribed $8 million financing. Their stock is halted pending the exchange giving approval on a shareholder meeting. So we're very excited about the 16 million shares we own in Winmar. They're already up a fair bit, and we're expecting a further run.
Okay. What is your growth strategy today? Is it about acquiring assets and then building them up?
In this environment for finance in North America, you build your company any way you can. We've been buying assets relatively cheaply due to our knowledge of the region and our contacts in the industry, and then selling them for fair value to reporting issuers in other jurisdictions. You can't do that forever. So we are now concentrating on other assets that we have in the portfolio, doing the work necessary to move them closer to production.
Okay. You recently wrote a very candid piece about there being a credibility crisis in the cobalt market. Is that why, while we see cobalt prices rising, stocks are down?
That's one of the reasons. Cobalt is a new market. It's a bizarre metal, geologically speaking, as to where it's found. And some of the entrants into the cobalt space aren't as reputable as others. There's some people measuring their cobalt with cobalt equivalent by including trace amounts of gold and silver and copper and nickel and doing some magic to get to a higher cobalt number. Shenanigans like that affect the credibility of all good junior issuers. Right. And so I think part of the reasons for the cobalt problems right now is a lack of credibility in the space overall. That will come with time.
So how do you stand out in the eyes of investors?
We're transparent. We're as honest as possible. We answer every phone call from every shareholder, and we are doing whatever we can to keep the company well financed on a non-dilutive basis and create real value with the drill bit.
What are your plans in the next 12 months? Any acquisitions on your radar?
Well, we're always looking at acquisitions. We're looking at a few right now. It's not always price as structure that matters more, so we're trying to get that right. We also have some divestitures that we're looking at. We have 2 drill programs we hope to carry out in 2018. One in Sudbury and one at our property in Quebec, which you asked about earlier, and I'm sorry I forgot to answer you. Chilton Cobalt in Quebec is in the Grenville, about an hour north of Montreal. It's in the soils. We have found nickel, copper, cobalt, chromium. We did VLF, we did MAG, and all of the aerial surveys overlap with the findings we had on the ground. So the showings are corresponding. We are going to go in and excavate across the fault lines, hopefully then run a drill program in the fall.
Excellent. Peter, wish you better times in the cobalt market. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.